Hi everyone, and welcome to this brand new type of webinar that we will have recurringly moving forward from now. It's called In the Limelight. I am your host, Magnus, and I work as Product Marketing Manager here at Lime. And during these sessions, we will walk you through the newest product features and show you how they can help you in working smarter and more efficient in Lime CRM. I am not alone here today. My colleague Thomas, working as a product manager, is managing the chat. So that is open during the entire session, and he is there to answer any questions you might have. So feel free to ask your questions using the chat as we go. Today, we have a fully packed agenda where we will dive deeper and look at some of the amazing new features in our web client that we have been working on lately. Today, we're going to look at something we call multiple start pages, where when one size does not fit all, going to look at variants, making it possible to configure what information to show when, and last but not least, a great new feature in our Lime eSign add-on called signing order. But before we get started, I will give you the tip and trick of the day, something that you might not know about, but something that will make it even easier to work in Lime CRM. Today, I will show you how you can install the web client as an app from your browser. And this comes with a couple of benefits, such as you can pin Lime CRM to your taskbar, and when you run Lime CRM, you will run it in full screen with less distractions. So how does this work? Let me show you. So now I am using Microsoft Edge and I'm logged in to a demo application, but what I will show you works in whatever modern browser you have. So in the menu, I have the possibility to install this site as an app. So instead of me navigating to the URL every time I start my work in Lime CRM in my browser, I can simply just press the shortcut on my computer. So I'm just gonna do it and you'll see what happens. So I'm installing it from Edge and it shows me in a completely separate window, and I can then pin it to taskbar, pin it to start, and I can also even auto start it on my device when I log in. So with that, you will have Lime CRM at your fingertips when you start your day at the office or wherever you are using your computer. This is super handy for all of you to know about. And just to be clear, this also works in if you use Lime CRM on your mobile phone, you can just run it and save it as a bookmark on your device, and that will also show Lime CRM in full screen mode with less distractions and more use of the screen. So hopefully you like that tip. Make it easier to get going with Lime CRM when you start your workday. So that was the tip and trick for the day. Now let's proceed with the agenda. First up, what I want to talk to you about is multiple start pages. So you might be familiar with our start page in Lime CRM, which is the first thing you see when logging in. On the start page, you have different widgets such as info tiles, the to-do widget, and the sales pipe widget. Some of you might have other things on the start page depending on your Lime CRM solution. But the whole idea here is to give you a great place to start your day. Now, with multiple start pages, which is, I would say, one of the most asked for feature in the web client, it's possible to create different start pages for different needs. It is way easier to adjust the start pages than before. And while we have worked on this feature, we also made the current to-do and sales pipe widget more flexible and better looking. And we've also added a new type of widget to the start page, the Object Explorer, that can be used to get a small convenient list of things that you are interested in, whether that being your to-dos, history notes, or companies, for example. During the development, we have also polished on the interface in general, so the overall look and feel is better than it used to be. So how does this work? It's time for a short demo. So I'm logging in to Lime CRM again, of course, using it as an app that I just saved and installed on my computer. And what you will see when using multiple start pages is that we have a very convenient drop down in the top of the start page, where you simply can switch between the start page that you are interested in. So in my demo application, I have the sales start page, which we're currently viewing. That shows me a couple of info tiles, that the number of prospects we have, my quotes to follow up, and other things that I'm interested in my role as a sales rep. I have my KPI widget, my ongoing deals, and a BI dashboard showing me the deals closed month by month. But let's say that I work in support. Then maybe I want to see other things on my start page. So then I can simply just switch between the different start pages, and that will show me the relevant information on the start page for that type of need. So switching to support, I will see a support dashboard. I will see the tickets that have come in. I will see a small list of all the help desk tickets that we have ongoing, some internal messages, and things like that. So with multiple start pages, we give you the ability to set up different start pages for different needs. And what's really great about this is that it will remember what start page you selected when you log in the next time. So the latest one that you selected will always be the one that you see when using Lime CRM again. Great, right? So how does this work when you are setting it up? Let me show you. So I will simply go into our administrators page here. And let's say that I want to switch the layout of the sales start page. So I'll just head over to system, where we have this new feature, start pages, where I will get the list of all the existing start pages. Of course, I can add more start pages. There is no limit in how many you can add. But let's say that I wanna do some configuration and switch the sales start page. So this is the list of all the different widgets that we see in the correct order. So here we see the info tiles in the bottom top left. We see that it has a certain size to it. But I said that we now, with our multiple start pages, also had the possibility to add a new kind of widget, the Object Explorer widget. And I want to add a new Explorer widget to get a list of all the deals that we have ongoing. So I'll simply press this one and then just add a small snippet of text here. I'm setting a size, a medium rectangle, and then I say that I want to see deals, right? Saving that, navigating back to Lime CRM, and we'll see that we will have a new widget in the bottom of the start page with a very convenient list of all the deals that we have ongoing. What's really cool about this Explore widget is that we can also change how we're visualizing what's in the list. So going back to the administrators page, I can simply say that I want to view these deals not as list, but rather as table. And I also want to make it a bit more easy to look and showing it side by side to the dashboard that we had. So I'm switching the Lime BI dashboard to a rectangle and moving back to Lime CRM and my sales start page. You will see that now we have the overview in side by side with my deals list that are now shown as a table instead. So this is really, really awesome feature for you guys to solve different kind of needs and get you the perfect overview and perfect start of your workday depending on your needs. So that was a quick demo of what multiple start page is and how it works. So how do you get started with this? So you will need some help from our side to get going. So reach out to your responsible sales rep or Lime consultant, and we will make sure that you get going. So let's proceed with the next big feature that I want to talk about today. We call it variants. So what is a variant? Well, a variant is a way to configure Lime CRM to only show relevant information to the user in the relevant context. That sounds really good, right? But why is this important? Well, too much irrelevant information causes distraction and loss of focus, right? And you only want to see things that are relevant. However, in Lime CRM, the same kind of object type or Lime type, as we call it, for example, companies, can be used for more than one thing. For example, it is fairly common that companies in Lime CRM holds both customers and suppliers. And these different types of companies, they hold different information, even though they are the same type of object, in this example, a company. So for example, companies, for example, for supplier, it might not be relevant to show deals or invoice information, which for companies that are our type customer is super important to show and handle. That is the reason for us building this feature, to let you focus on what's important. However, when we created this feature, we realized that we could solve another problem at the same time, the ability to control what fields to show when creating a new object. For example, for those of you who integrate Lime CRM to other systems, such as your ERP system, you most certainly have quite a few read-only fields that are populated from these systems. Why should you have to show them when creating a new object manually? Well, now you don't. So with variants, we can define what information to show when, and it's not only about what fields to show depending on context, it's also possible to define what tabs to show. And it's possible to configure as many variants as you want on whatever object type you would like. Would you like to configure variants for the help desk type? No problem. Maybe you work with different types of deals. Go ahead. Variants can be used for your specific use case. And maybe the best part about variants, it's all configuration, no code is needed, saving both time and money. How awesome is that? So let's take a look how this works in practice, shall we? So I'm going back to my demo Lime CRM application, and I will start with the example that I mentioned previously, focusing on companies. And we will start with configuring what information to fill out when creating a new company. So let's take a look how this is right now. So when I'm creating a new company, I'll go to the create menu, press company, and you will see that when I create a new manual company, not using our add company data add-on, that I have a lot of fields going on here, right? There's so much information that it starts to feel like a tax reporting system. And that is not what Lime CRM is. It's a CRM system, should be easy to use, right? So a lot of this information is not necessary for me to see when I'm in this context of creating a new company. Do I need to see any ERP information or integration information? Well, certainly not. So let's fix that. So I'm switching back in my role as administrator in Lime CRM, and I'm heading over to the card view for company. So here we have another checkbox that makes it super easy for us to simply define what kind of information should be displayed when creating the object. So for example, the address section, do I want to display that when creating an object? Yeah, that should be relevant, but maybe not the ERP information, the prof information, and integration. So what I'm doing is that I'm simply unchecking this for these sections, saving my config like that, and navigating back to Lime CRM, creating a new company, we will see that we only show the relevant fields instead, not showing the fields that are unnecessary in this context. This is super awesome. So now now that we've configured the create new dialog, let's proceed on our path to simplify the handling of companies after that as well. So continuing on the example that I had, let's say we're handling companies in Lime CRM, but we handle both customers and suppliers. Both of these types are companies, but they hold a bit different information. Customers are synced to the ERP system, and of course, for customers, we'd like to keep track of deals and invoices and such. But for suppliers, we handle more of the basic information. Streamlining the information shown depending on what kind of company it is would make it much easier for us to focus on what's important. So let's try to do that as well. So with the variants, we've introduced a new possibility in the administrating tool to say what kind of field is variant based on. So in this case, we say buying status. I'm saving this one, and we'll see that we have a new node here in the menu. So I'm going to add the supplier variant like that, and that should be visible for the ones that are buying status supplier. Pressing save. Now I can simply say what kind of information should be shown when the buying status is supplier. So what we wanted to do is to say that, well, we don't want to show any ERP information. We don't want to show any prof information, no integrations. And actually, we don't want to see any orders, any tickets, signings, invoices. We're streamlining, removing tabs that are unnecessary in this context. And we could also define what kind of web components we don't want to see. So I'm saving this one. Going back to Lime CRM, going to my company, Vandelay Industries. In this case, this is a company that is of type active customer. But if this were supposed to be a supplier, I'm just switching that one, saving, then you'll see that we remove unnecessary tabs, we remove other information that is not necessary for a supplier. So as you can see here, we have also a bit of different widgets here on the company card, such as info tiles, new feature as well. But let's remove them as well because they are not relevant in this context. So I'm simply just removing them like this, saving, navigating back, and you'll see that we get a further streamlined supplier card that holds the information that is relevant for the suppliers. Switching back to active customer, which is this company in this case, will get me back to the customer variant instead. Okay, so how do you get started with this? Also, as of right now, you need some assistance from your responsible sales rep or consultant at Lime to turn it on, but it will be available for everyone the upcoming week and available for you guys that are administrator, or if you have an administrator at your company, to just do this configuration by yourself. So let's go back and continue with the last new feature of this webinar, Lime eSign, and the possibility to set signing order. So some of you might already know what Lime eSign is and maybe already use it in Lime CRM. But for those of you who don't, Lime eSign is an add-on to Lime CRM that is a modern and super easy way to send documents for signing digitally. It will put an end to your paper contract processes, and not at least a safe and easy way to sign your agreements. With Lime eSign, we helped a lot of our customers to close deals faster, but one of the most asked for feature has been to be able to control the order of the ones signing the document. So now this is possible with the feature that we call steps. So why is this important? Well, in many cases, it is important to control the order in which people are invited to sign a document. Some example could be when you need your own CEO's signature, but don't want to disturb her with agreements that the customer ends up not signing anyway. Or when you sell something that is of a limited resource, it could be a machine, an apartment, or whatever, where you want the buyer to commit to the agreement before signing it, to not have partially signed agreements lingering. And this is extra important when the person facilitating the signing process is not actually the last signer, as it can be very confusing to be invited to a signing process before you should sign the document. Another example is to make sure that the agreement goes through a screening process before the customer gets a chance to read it. For example, if the manager needs to approve a quotation sent out by one of our employees, or when the person signing from your customer side needs an expert colleague to read it and sign it first, so they can rest assured that it passes all their demands. So how does this work? Let's take a look as I will show you the last demo of the day. So in my application, I'll go back to my start page. You will see that I have a quote to follow up. So let's just go to this one and we'll see that I have this deal that I am working on. We have created a quotation and now I'm ready to send that for signing. So when doing so, I'm selecting my quotation here. And when I proceed in my signing process, you'll see that I will get the invitation order directly in this dialogue, where it says that the first one that are supposed to sign is Art Vandelay, which is the responsible customer person, and me, Magnus Faglund. But I can add more steps and configure what persons that are supposed to sign this document and in what order. So when I'm pressing step, I get a second step. And let's say that in this case, Art Vandelay, he's a sales rep at the customer, but this document should also be signed by the customer, the CEO at the company, Vandelay Industries. So here I can simply select to send that to George Costo, who is the CEO. And I can add as many steps as I like, and I can also add if a certain step should be signed by two persons before proceeding to the next step. So in this example that I'm showing you, this means that the document will not be sent to George Costo for signing unless Art and Magnus have signed it. Super easy. Before I send it for signing, of course, I can take a look at the document to see how it looks. So everything is in order before I press the button. Looks perfect, right? So let's just send it for signing, and that means that Art and Magnus will receive it, and after that it will be sent for signing by the CEO. And in this case, I open the document in the signing portal to sign it myself directly, and Art Vandelay, he receives an email to have this document sent. Super easy to use, super quick, will make your process of getting the document signed digitally even smoother than before. So how do you get started with this? If you have eSign, it's just a small switch that we need to turn on. So contact us and we'll make sure that you get it. If some of you are interested in using Lime eSign and you don't use it today, reach out to us and we will talk to you further regarding that. Lime eSign is an add-on to Lime CRM. The other parts that I've shown you today during the demos, they are features included in the web client, and you don't need to pay anything to get it. It's already included. So that was all of the new features that I wanted to show you today. So to summarize what I have been talking about this morning, multiple start pages is here to give you a great start of your workday and show you the information on the start page that is relevant for your needs, whether you work in sales or support, or if you're an administrator, or if you work in marketing. It's possible to set up a start page for your individual needs. Variants makes it possible to show information that makes sense in the right context, making it even easier to work in Lime CRM when creating new objects and when working with existing objects, to only show and let you focus on what's important. And last but not least, signing order streamlines the process further of getting that document signed, not sending unnecessary signings to people that are not supposed to sign the document. So thank you so much for listening in during this 30 minutes or so. Before we round off, I wanted to take the time to show you also that we have our new product news site where we will continuously post new features whenever we are releasing, and we are doing that continuously. And so head over there to read more about all of the details and all the things that we have out there. And also, these sessions will be recurring, and you will be invited to more as we go. So I guess there are questions in the chat that my colleague has answered. We will gather them and also include them in the wrap up from this webinar. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great Friday and happy weekend. Thank you so much.